It's time to start a new streak. Yesterday, the Braves' six-gamer was snapped by Marlins fireballer Nathan Eovaldi. Today, though, the Braves open up a three-game set against the always tough New York Mets, who've played them to an 8-8 record in their first 16 meetings. Our series opener comes your way from Turner Field next. The rain is gone and skies are clearing in Atlanta as the Braves continue what's been a very successful homestand so far. They've won 5 of their first 6 games, and now they battle the New York Mets, a club that's given them a lot of trouble so far in 2013. We start a 3-game series here at home this afternoon. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe back with you at the ballpark. These are important games for the Braves, whose magic number to win the division is now 13 over the Washington Nationals. Several players auditioning for prominent postseason roles, including today's starter, Paul Maholm, who tries to beat the Mets.
He's trying to get back to that real nice groove he was in at the beginning of the year, where he won his first 3 or 4 starts. He didn't give up a run for his first 20 innings. He'd like to get back into that groove he was in, and he was in that against Cleveland in his last start. He pitched a real good ball game. 6 innings, he only gave up 1 run, and figured to be the winner, and even his record at 500 and get into the double digits in wins if he had won the ball game. But the Braves bullpen gave up a run in the 8th inning, and the Braves went on to win the game in the 9th on a Chris Johnson walk-off base hit. But he also got some help, as you see, from his defense. He pitched a good ball game, and he has pitched well here at Turner Field. As you see, a sub-2 ERA, a 5-2 record, not as many home runs. He likes pitching in this ballpark. He goes against the Mets today, and let's hope that Turner Field is just the medicine for him again.
It's an early start for the New York Mets, who got to town about 4 o'clock this morning. Quick turnaround for them, and they may try to stay awake with Dice K on the mound. He takes about 30 seconds between pitches, so hopefully that will play in the Braves' hands as well. The starting pitching for Atlanta has been awesome. So has been its bullpen. What a relief indeed. Tom Hart will explain when we come back to Atlanta for Game 1 of the Braves-Mets series in a moment.
Mets to town for the first of three. Hey, everybody, I'm Tom Hart. You know how good the Braves bullpen has been this season. But historically, well, it's something special. Look at the guys who have put in the work as of late to get the Braves to where they are right now. And it's not just the leading names. Anthony Vivaro has had a busy weekend, to be sure. He picked up his first career save with a couple of innings 2 nights ago. Craig Kimbrel continues his excellence, one of the best relievers that we have seen in baseball in a long time. And Freddie Garcia in his first Braves appearance went 4 2/3 scoreless, which was an outstanding outing, especially considering what he did at AAA. So this is now our Georgia Louder hitting the jackpot. How good is this bullpen? Well, it's the best in Major League Baseball in terms of ERA since the world champion Dodgers in 1988. Other numbers are equally as impressive. They lead the league in saves, whip, and opponent's average. And in this homestand, only two earned runs over 21 2/3 innings pitched. And they've done it by using 15 different relievers this season, all trying to get the ball to Craig Kimbrel at the back end. No matter how you say his name, he's been great. He's an all-star, and the Braves welcome the Mets for the first of 3. They look to Paul Maholm against Daisuke today for a little Labor Day baseball. You can relax. All the work will be done on the field. And in the booth, Chip and Joe will have the call when we return to Turner Field.
Turned out to be a very nice day here at Turner Field. Very comfortable, 72 degrees. It is still rather humid. Chance of showers later on in the afternoon, but the rain has stopped. The tarp is off. The Braves have taken the field, ready to open up this series with the New York Mets, club that has given Atlanta big-time trouble so far in this 2013 season. Eric Young is their leadoff man. Daniel Murphy bats second on their Toyota starting 9. Josh Satton's in at first base with Ike Davis hurt. Andrew Brown's in right. Juan Lagares having a terrific year in the outfield. He's their center fielder. Justin Turner's at short. Wilmer Flores at third base bats 7th. Anthony Recker's the catcher. And Daisuke Matsuzaka, the former Boston Red Sox, is on the mound for the Mets.
Paul Maholm makes his 23rd start of the year. He's had good numbers against the Mets in his career. 6-4 with a 3.49 ERA. And a 278 opponent batting average. He lost the only start that he's made against them this year, but he pitched well. 7 innings, he only gave up 2 runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. His 4 keys to pitching success: veteran wedge. He's trying to drive a little veteran wedge in between all of these young pitchers for a possible postseason spot on the pitching roster, whether as a starter or reliever, no one would know at this point. But with all the good young starters the Braves have, he's the guy with the most experience. And down is good. When he was pitching against Cleveland his last time out, good outing because he kept the ball down, had the good curveball working, kept it down and out of the zone. Hopefully that will be the case today and a recipe for him to get a win.
Tim McClelland is the crew chief. He's got the plate today. Foster, Bell, and Hudson around the horn from first to third on the base paths. Mets and Atlanta 8-8 so far this year. Hard to figure out how that's happened with all that this New York club has been through with trades and injuries and ineffective play. But to their credit, they've played hard against the Braves and have played at times very, very well. Eric Young's been a difference maker for them. A speedy left fielder hitting .254 for the season.
Wow, Tim was well rested. That was a quick call from him.
Barked it right out, didn't
he? Yes, he did. Good sign.
Like it. Young pulls one into the seats foul. It's 0-2.
Another key for Paul today would be to keep Eric Young off the bases too. He's been running wild in the stolen base department. And as a team, they've stolen 10 bases as a group in their last 5 games.
That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Today, Young is playing in his 65th, I believe, game as a Met. That's the case. Got him from the Rockies. And that's fouled at the plate. Bryant couldn't hang on. We'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets had designs on maybe catching Washington for second place in the division. Washington's playing much better baseball over the last 2 weeks or so. The Mets, under Terry Collins, have seen injuries and trades decimate their roster. They're now 5.5 games out of second place and only a game ahead of the Phillies for 4th.
Different looking team than what we saw just a week or 10 days ago. Braves are just happy to be playing them here. The last 2 trips to New York have not been healthy for Atlanta.
No. Hayward and Hudson were both injured. Now Young takes outside, a full count. That's a called third strike. Wow. Eric Young, you got to wait with Tim McClelland behind the plate. He tossed the bat and was ready to head to first. Instead, he's rung up. 1 away.
Well, shaved the line. Tim McClelland gave him the benefit of the doubt after much deliberation.
Paul will take that. Here's Daniel Murphy. He's on one of his hot streaks. He's hit safely in his last 6 games with 13 hits in that stretch. And there's a scoreboard malfunction. It had a live camera shot rather than Danny Murphy's baseball card up there. So that was the reason for the pause.
I'd almost rather see the live shot. That's got so much baseball card stuff info up there, it'd make you dizzy.
Strike 1 for the Mets second baseman, and way inside.
You know, this guy's getting back to more normal numbers for him with his good work lately. Maybe he's on a salary drive. He's arbitration eligible this winter. 11 hits in his last 19 at bats.
High fly to center. And B.J. Upton is under it, and that's the second out. Here's the Braves defensive lineup. That's your standard starting 8 defensively here in the last couple of weeks. Evan Gattis, by the way, has one more minor league game. He is expected back in Atlanta tomorrow for Game 2 of the series. Braves wanted him to get some at bats with AAA Gwinnett, and he's been doing that. Here's Josh Satin. He's the New York first baseman and probably will be, along with Lucas Duda, the rest of the way. Ike Davis injured his oblique. There are some who believe his season is over, and outside chance he may be elsewhere as a major league player next year. It's been a disappointing last couple of seasons for Ike Davis.
That's kind of the prevailing feeling about the entire Mets team, Chip, is that Darno behind the plate, David Wright at third, probably Lagares in center, and beyond that, who knows what this team's going to look like next year from a position player standpoint.
Published reports, though, say it's looking like that man, Terry Collins, is going to be back as the Mets manager. Nothing official yet. But how can you fault the job that Terry Collins has done with Mets ball clubs that have been seriously undermanned the last couple of years, yet continue to play hard and play good baseball for the most part?
And at this stage of the season, have lost 2 of their top starters in the rotation in Harvey and Hefner. Don't have their closer, Bobby Parnell. He's on the shelf.
Traded away their big home run hitter Marlon Byrd. They traded away their #1 catcher in John Buck. They went to the Pirates. As Satin lines one over Chris Johnson's glove into left field. He will make his way to second base with a 2-out double.
If you took a poll of Atlanta Braves players and manager and coaches, and like for a postseason all-star team in the National League East, Josh Satin and Ike Davis would be on the team. They have worn the Braves out. Satin's 5 for his last 9 now. This base hit.
So Mahalam in the stretch for Andrew Brown. He's the Mets right fielder today. 5 homers, 19 knocked in. Satin is getting a huge lead at second base, by the way, but he does not run particularly well. Keep that in mind should Brown reach safely with a hit. Three balls and a strike. run helped out Mahalam there. It's a full count.
Sure did. Good off-speed pitch, good changeup, but was probably ball 4.
Brown's out of Dallas, Texas. Originally a Cardinal farmhand. Non-roster player with the Mets this year after he played college ball at Nebraska. Andrew also spent some time in the big leagues with the Rockies last year. He played in 46 games and hit 5 homers. He's no kid. He's 29, or will be 29 in a week. He just broke his bat. Johnson fields at the line and makes the peg to first in time to retire the side. No runs, a hit, a man left. Dice K goes to the mound. Set your sundials, folks. No score. '50th home win at Turner Field. Jordan Schaefer leads off the Toyota starting 9. Justin Upton's in left. Freddie Freeman back in at first base. The middle of the Braves attack features Brian McCann, Chris Johnson, and B.J. Upton. Dan Uggla, Andrelton Simmons, and Paul Mahalam, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Dice K is actually only 32 years old, 6 feet, 185 pounds, from Tokyo. Started off with a bang when he came over from Japan. Boston paid a lot of money just to negotiate with him and then sign him, and he pitched well for them. And then he ran into a rash of arm troubles, and since then it's been a real battle for Daisuke Matsusaka. His 4 keys to pitching success today: you're on the clock. Get the ball and throw it. No him-hawing around. Let's go. Your team is tired. They got here at 4 o'clock this morning. And this may be his last chance in the big leagues after spending all of this year prior to 2 starts in AAA with the Cleveland organization.
Jordan Schaefer bunts. Dice K with a backhanded glove flip. Flips it right back to himself. And Schaefer has a bunt hit to start the game for the Braves.
You know, when Jordan came to the plate, he had a rather sanguine look about him with respect to getting some hits today. And lo and behold, a bunt single his first time up.
I don't know what sanguine means, but it sounds pretty serious.
That was a nice flip to himself, though. That's not easy to do if you're Dice K. So I'll help you out later.
Thanks. I need all the help I can get today. Justin Upton, the batter. On the Mets broadcast, the last time Dice K pitched, did something rather clever. They had a clock with his face on it, and they timed the amount of time between pitches. At one point, it was 48 seconds.
48?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a stopwatch thing on mine.
Okay.
I can highest average number of pitches active. He's right in there. 17 point something, and there's that timer.
Yes. Our Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard. At a count of 1-1 to Upton. So delay tactics part of Dice K's repertoire, and he's not also a guy, Joe, that doesn't really throw a lot of strikes in the first place, does he?
Not unless he has to. You know, which is kind of odd for a pitcher. I really don't want to throw a strike unless you actually absolutely make me.
1 ball, 1 strike. Schaefer's running. Good jump. Recker's throw almost picked off Dice K.
Good thing he was watching. Anthony Recker's a big guy, 6'2", 230. Comes out firing, but that was a little low for Dice K's liking. 18th stolen base for Jordan.
And Upton now ahead in the count. 64 ribbies for the Braves left fielder. And now 2-2.
Got the clock running.
Okay. That's just foul past first.
.9 seconds on that one.
I believe the only guy who takes more time between pitches is Josh Beckett, and they were teammates with the Red Sox. Makes you wonder, maybe explains, I should say, why those Boston games took so long years ago. Time him with a sundial. 2-2. Get out of play. Now, some of it isn't Dice K's fault. I mean, today's modern player.
That's right.
I mean, here's Justin out of the box, adjusting the batting gloves. Line drive into right field. That's going to get down for a hit. The ball bobbled out there. Brown couldn't handle it cleanly, and Schaefer had to hold up in case there was a catch, and he'll stop at third base on a rocket shot off the bat of Justin Upton.
With McCann and Chris Johnson back in the lineup this afternoon, that allows Freddie Gonzalez to move Justin back up to the 2 spot where he's been so good over the last 6 weeks or so. And shows you why right there, going the other way. The outfield grass, while this field drains beautifully, the outfield grass has really got to be wet. So there's going to be some slipping and sliding out there, one would guess, especially when the ball hits and hydroplanes a little bit.
So Freddie Freeman with a golden chance for the Braves. 88 runs batted in. He's hit 4 of his 17 home runs this year against the Mets. Is it just me, or does it seem odd looking at a Mets pitcher wearing number 16 and it's not Dwight Gooden?
Yes, it is. That looked like a gyro ball there that got away from him. Gyro ball was pitch was supposed to be like almost like a palm ball turned over changeup that had some incredible spin on it.
There was a strike.
His last start came against Philadelphia. He went 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks. He did strike out 5. His other start for New York came against Detroit. 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. He threw 110 pitches in his 4 1/3 inning of work against Philadelphia.
You mentioned earlier the gigantic sum of money that the Boston Red Sox gave the Cebu Lions to get Dice K. It was a $51 million posting fee. That was the amount of money the Red Sox had to give Cebu just to try to negotiate a contract with him. And then the Boston Red Sox gave him $52 million in salary. So that was a $103 million transaction. And over the course of Dice K's major league career, which started in 2007, he's been on the DL 8 times and he's won 50 games. There's a shot deep right. Brown going back. He's not going to get that one. It's over his head. Here comes Justin around third. He's going to try to score. The throw to the plate is going to be late. 2-0.
Tricky slide there by Justin and a beauty. That was a good relay from Daniel Murphy on the fly to Recker at home plate. And Recker, like I said, is a big guy and was standing right in front of the plate. Justin had to go around him and just got a bare hand on the plate as he went by. Freddie launched this one over Brown's head. You can see Recker standing in front of the plate trying to block it. Caught the ball and then was trying to get him with the tags, swinging his glove around, and missed. Great job of trying to block the plate, but what a great slide by Justin to get his hand down there.
Freeman now with 90 runs batted in. The Braves jump in front in the first inning as Schaefer and Upton score. First 3 hitters have hits for the Braves. Here's McCann. Bryant takes a ball low.
You told me, Chip, that the only guy that wasn't on the charter here in the wee hours of the morning is Dice K. That means if he doesn't go very long today, that bullpen, everybody's tired, but their bullpen's going to be asked to wake up and get after it. Matsuzaka came in ahead of everybody else.
And you might ask, well, why are the Mets giving this guy a chance? Well, why not? Is, I guess, the best answer. With all the injuries they have suffered to their rotation, you take a flyer on a guy that has pitched in the big leagues and see if he has anything left.
They have 2 things that have made it hard for them to, well, has necessitated getting a guy like Dice K. Injuries, but also young pitchers that they've placed innings limits on, that they don't want to overdo it and overextend them here at the end of the year. So not only have they gotten Dice K, and this is his 3rd start, but I was told this morning they also just signed Aaron Harang, who had been released by Seattle, and Harang will go to their AAA club to pitch a little bit, and then he'll be with the big league club as soon as their season ends.
But Hefner's out, Mejia is out, Matt Harvey's out, and Johan Santana. That's 4 starters for the Mets that have gone down with injury.
think there's a big league club that could overcome that, much less one that's in the rebuilding stage like the New York Mets are. 4 hitters up, 4 hitters have reached. McCann at first, Freeman at second for Chris Johnson, back atop the league lead in batting average at .333. One ball, one strike.
There's a guy in that batting race, though, that's making a big drive, and it's not Johnson or Yadier Molina. Michael Kadire is on a tear. 4 hits last night for Colorado against the Reds. 2 doubles and a homer included.
Nice home field advantage, huh? Coors Field. Fouled away by Chris. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Laser Baker tells me 9 players are on the disabled list for the Mets, and only 1 is not a pitcher. And that's David Wright, their best player.
Wright's out with a bad hamstring. He's in Florida rehabbing and is hoping to come back and play at some point this September. And bouncer to third. That is a fair ball. A step on the bag at third forces Freeman, and Johnson's doubled up at first. So nice play by Wilmer Flores, who's the man filling in for David Wright at third. Let's check out the rest of the Mets defensive lineup. They're middle of the pack as far as errors are concerned, but they've found somebody to catch the ball in center, haven't they?
Yeah, like him a lot. He's gathering a lot of admiration from people around baseball, not only with his ability to go get the ball, but Lagares has now moved to the top of the assist ladder in the National League.
He's got 12 of them for New York. And now B.J. Upton with 2 outs. BJ's 4-game hit streak ended yesterday. He did, however, reach with a 4th inning walk. He has 7 hits in his last 17 at bats. And he and Dice K hooked up quite a bit over in the American League East when Upton was in Tampa Bay and Dice K was a Red Sox. Should it be Red Sox or Red Sox? If you are a singular person on the team.
You're a Red Sox.
You're a sock,
don't you think?
I mean, yeah, it just sounds kind of funny to say it that way.
I put my socks on, but I put a sock on at a time.
Dave had a better idea when he played with Boston.
Oh, yeah, good idea right there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He couldn't check his swing, and Dice K's out of the 1st inning. The first 4 Braves batters reached, 3 of them via hit. Freeman's doubled the big blow after Schaefer and Justin reached with singles. Freddie doubles home 2. He's got 90 RBIs, and Paul Maholm leads by a pair.
AT&T Uverse, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford.
Well, Joe, something the Braves have done a lot on this homestand. That's provide their starter with early runs. 2 more in the first inning here. And Freddie Gonzalez and Tim McClellan were jawing in between innings.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about unless Tim heard somebody yelling at him or something from the dugout. I don't know. Kept pointing back toward the Braves dugout.
I don't know if anybody got ejected or not. Tim kind of gave the brush off signal with his right hand there. Obviously, Freddie is still on the dugout bench.
He didn't throw our camera operator out, did he? Gummy, did you say something?
And Uggla can't handle that smash off the bat of Juan Lagares. And he's aboard to start the second inning.
Pretty hard hit. Like Dan might be able to get a glove on it as he went to the ground, but off the heel of his glove, off the thumb, it'll be a base hit.
This is Justin Turner. He's the shortstop today. I asked some folks with the Mets about Ruben Tejada. Will we see him at all this season? And the story on Tejada was very simply, he came to camp out of shape, did not play particularly well for the first 2 months of the season, and frankly has been exiled to AAA. Once Las Vegas, as you said with regards to Aaron Harang, once Las Vegas finishes their AAA season, they think that Tejada will be back and will again be the shortstop for the Mets.
How do you, at these prices these days, as your dad would say, how do you come to camp not in shape?
Don't know.
What in the world would make you think that you've got a lock on a job in Ruben Tejada's instance?
Well, what was interesting was one of the folks I spoke to speculated, wouldn't it be interesting if Tejada comes back and the Mets, who are going to have Johan Santana and Jason Bay's money off the books next year, what if they made a deal with Toronto and brought Jose Reyes back? It would fill 2 glaring needs for the Mets, that being a shortstop and leadoff man. Reyes, as you know, was always a fan favorite in New York.
That'd be a bold stroke.
Reyes with Toronto, who's had a very disappointing year. That's out of play by Turner and into the upper deck, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Omar Quintanilla, who's played shortstop the most in the absence of Tejada, only a .222 average in his 80 games. Turner's hit .264 when he's played, but he's kind of a jack of all trades. He can play anywhere.
Ball and 2 strikes. And golfed, foul at third. I think a big question for the Mets will be, are they going to spend any money this offseason? Are they going to go into the free agent market? Can they pull off some trades to make themselves relevant in the division again? As I said, Johan Santana's $24 million comes off the books. Jason Bay's money comes off the books next year. As Turner shoots one to right, that's play over for Schaefer, 1 out.
The story from ownership before this season was that they would have some money to spend, not this past off season, but the one upcoming, for those reasons and for other economic reasons that were isolated to the ownership of the Mets at the time. So I would look for them to try to do something. They've got to have some position players. They've got to go out and get a couple of guys.
It's Wilmer Flores. He's missed the last couple of games with bad ankles for New York. And that's out of play, foul. Well, their plans, I'm sure, for 2014 took a horrible blow when Matt Harvey tore his elbow ligament. I mean, what a darn shame for baseball fans, not just Met fans, to see that terrific talent hurt. As they have the makings of a very good, dynamic, young pitching rotation, but those plans now on hold because no one knows what Harvey's going to do. Will he use rest to rehab the elbow, or will he have to undergo Tommy John surgery? And if it's the latter option, he's going to miss most of, if not all of, next year.
If it is a slight tear in his ligament, most people would tell you it's inevitable that you're going to need surgery. And timing wise, I don't know if there's a good time to do it, but sooner the better. Get it fixed.
One ball, 2 strikes for Flores. That's out of play to the left. Flores' ankle started giving him problems around the middle of August, and that's affected his swing. It's affected his mobility at third base, and that's why Terry Collins gave him a couple days to see if those issues would calm down for him.
Yeah, it happened right before the Braves went to New York the last trip. He was running the bases and took his eye off the third base bag to find the baseball, and when he did that, he hit the bag funny, messed him up.
And that's strike 3 called. Flores caught looking. Mulholland has his second strikeout of the game, and 2 are out. Anthony Recker has 6 hits in his last 4 games. So he and Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets catchers. Another National League game in progress today. Adam Wainwright's getting clobbered again, this time in Cincinnati. He gave up 9 runs in his last start. He's given up 4 to the Reds after 2 innings at the Great American Ballpark. It's a huge series for Cincinnati.
He pitched a great game against Atlanta when we were in St. Louis, as you recall. Complete game effort. But I wonder if his innings are catching up to him a little bit. All those complete games. And he's well over 200 innings pitched now.
That's outside. 2 balls and a strike for Recker. Cardinals and Pirates are tied atop the Central. Cincinnati is 3.5 games back. Do not count out the Reds.
No. And they have a home and home left with the Pirates right at the end of the month.
3-2 pitch. It's outside. Wrecker walks. 2 on, 2 out for New York.
This is not what Paul Mulholland wants to do, and that is going to deep counts against guys hitting $198 at the bottom of the New York Mets order when he's got a 2-run lead. He can afford to be more aggressive. He can afford to throw more of his sinkers to get swings. He's thrown 47 pitches already.
A liner by Matsuzaka into center field for a hit. Lagares will come around and score. Wrecker on his way to third, and the pitcher for New York helps himself. He cuts the lead in half with an RBI hit. It's 2-1.
And that was set up by the walk that moved a runner into scoring position. High breaking ball. Daisuke 2 for 4 since he got called up.
And here's Eric Young. He was on his way to first base, or so he thought, in his first at bat. Tim McClellan called him out on strikes. That's cut on and tipped into the glove of Brian McCann. A 12-minute top of the second inning. Daisuke with an RBI hit scores Juan Lagares. And the Braves go back to work with a 2-1 lead now.
Juan Lagares, the center fielder for the New York Mets, who with his good arm has climbed over some guys with good arms as well, Bruce, Parra, and Gonzalez, to take the lead in the National League in assists. He's got 3 against the Braves. Example right here. Comes up firing to the plate, gets Jason Heyward. Good throw, gets Jason Heyward. Different play. Watch this play. This happened just the other day up in New York. Throwing back to second, a little off the mark, but close enough for Murphy to get back in there and get Andrelton Simmons. That was a powerful throw from deep left center in New York. And remember, he wasn't on the ball club to begin the season, and then at best he was platooning once in a while. So for him to have 12 assists and no more playing time than he has had is pretty impressive.
His 12th assist came Saturday that ties the Mets franchise rookie record set by Tsuyoshi Shinjo. You remember him?
Yeah, yeah.
That was 12 years ago, 2001.
Well, he was popular in New York and a good player.
Dan Uggla bats for the first time and takes low. But when you talk to the Mets people about Lagares, the name that is spoken most in comparison is Andruw Jones. What a compliment.
Largely because he plays shallow, go get him in center field, and has a good arm.
Dan's hit the Mets hard this year. Let's see if that continues today. And now 2 balls and a strike. And 15 for 45 against Mets pitching with 4 homers. Wilmer Flores at third, loads up and gets his man, 1 out. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Can you name the last Mets outfielder to win a Gold Glove?
First thought would be Beltran, but he was hurt so much I don't know that he could have won one.
It's an excellent suggestion, though. Darryl Strawberry ever win a Gold Glove?
Doubt it.
Mookie Wilson.
That's a maybe.
Andrelton Simmons bats for the first time. He's got a 1-1 count. And it seems like Dice Case picked up the pace a little bit here in the second inning.
And his fastball is certainly good enough. It's been around 90, 91. Just a matter of where he locates it. Just realized he was working at warp speed and had to back off just a little.
Who worked more deliberately, this guy or Steve Traxel?
Traxel was fine until he got guys on base. There was no complaints at all until men got on, and then it was over.
Little looper over first. That'll fall in for a hit. Thing of beauty for Andrelton Simmons, and that'll bring Paul Mulholland to the plate.
You can have a ham and cheese sandwich while this guy's just in his windup.
May not be a bad idea. The Braves Alumni Association is hosting their second annual Waffle House Braves Alumni Charity Breakfast Sunday, September 29th from 11 to 1 at Turner Field. Come have breakfast with Braves legends and then see the Braves take on the Phillies. Reserve your seats today at braves.com/breakfast. That's Sunday, September 29th.
Which I believe is the last day of the season, isn't it?
Yep. Braves finish at home with 3 against Milwaukee and 4 with the Phillies. Paul bunted that ball foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. After we wrap it up with the Mets on Wednesday afternoon, remember that's a 12-10 start. Braves have an off day on Thursday. Then we hit the road. 3 in Philadelphia and 4 down in South Florida with the Marlins. Paul got the bunt down. It was a good one. Sacrifice 3-4, runner to second, 2 out.
I was hoping that Satin would go at that flip thing again and just flip one over to Matsusaka.
Yeah.
And then let's see if he could highlight one over to first. Good bunt.
Let's see if Schaefer can bring home Andrelton now. He bunted for a hit, stole second, and scored on Freeman's double.
When he's winding up, Daisuke has that little pause at the top of his wind up, trying to mess with your timing a little bit. And out of the stretch, he will quick pitch you. He will pause and hold the ball for a while. Anything he can do to try to disrupt your timing at the plate. I think that's very common for most Japanese pitchers.
Two and two. And for all the money that has been spent by major league teams in the international market, I think Japan, is safe to say, it's been kind of a mixed bag as far as the success of the players. The Ichiros are a lot rarer than the guys that just haven't panned out, especially among pitchers. Schaefer strokes one into right field. That's in for a hit. Brown's throw will be cut off. It's 3-1. Jordan Schaefer 2 for 2.
Jordan needed a day like today. He had not had the best of homestands. 5 for 25 with a bunch of strikeouts. So to start the day 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored, stolen base. That's back to what he's been doing for the Braves in the leadoff spot after Hayward got hurt. See if he can steal another one.
Upton singled and scored his first time up. I don't know if it's a trend in baseball, Joe, but it seems in the last 5-6 years that baseball's international free agency signings are moving away from the Japanese leagues and moving more to former Cuban players. Cespedes, Echeverria, Puig. As they make their way out of Cuba, those players are seemingly getting very big, high-dollar contracts that don't require the posting fees.
Yeah, but don't you just feel like that's subject to availability? You know,
yeah.
When are those guys able to get out? I'm sure there's a handful, if not more, Cuban players that major league teams would love to have, just not accessible.
Schaefer's running, the pitch low. Recker's throw is on target but late. Schaefer outran the ball and has his second steal in as many innings. Mr. Recker's got himself a good arm, doesn't he?
He does. He's got a good arm. One thing about Jordan's slide, though, a lot of guys, when they hit the ground, they slow down. Not him. He seems to kind of hit it in a plane where he doesn't, I'll say, belt first, start dragging in the dirt. I mean, he is gliding across the top of the dirt and gets into the bag quickly.
Freeman on deck. Upton in an RBI spot. And now a 3-0 count. And here's Daisuke nibbling. And the green light, fouled it off. Schaefer 2 for 2 at the plate, 2 for 2 on the bases. He's got a good lead at second. 3-1 count for Upton. And Daisuke will have to face Freddie Freeman with 2 on and 2 out. Braves are happy to have this matchup.
And this is what the Mets don't need today. See, Freddie has reached the 90 RBI plateau after those 2 RBIs today already. He's 14 behind the leader. But these guys are dog tired. The players that are on the field, they don't want to be standing around a lot today. They want quick outs. They want quick innings. Braves got singles from Schaefer and Upton to start the game, and then Freddie drove them both in with his double that he ripped to the Braves bullpen. And a great slide by Justin Upton, just getting his left hand on the plate to avoid the tag.
High fly ball, bell to deep right field. That one is long gone.
He's only 11 behind.
So it's 6-1 Braves, a 4-run second inning. 93 RBIs for Freddie, who equals his career high in RBIs for a game. Last time he had a 5 RBI game, August 11th, 2012 against the Mets.
Is that right?
Yep. He should be an MVP candidate, you know. That's back toward us.
Tried to come in on him. They tried to come in on him the first pitch of the sequence, and it was so far in, he pulled it over by the on-deck circle. So they tried it again and left it a little too far out over the plate. And this one, did it reach the terrace level?
At the walkway.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Tell you what, I love that angle from the right field corner looking in at left-hand hitters at the point of contact. The strength and the extension is really remarkable.
Let's watch that one again then. This is for Chip.
Bang.
What's cool about that to me is his head watching the ball right into the bat.
Now McCann shoots one into center field. The Mets had a shift, but on a payoff pitch, Brian reaches with his first hit of the day, and the Braves are bludgeoning Dice K, and Terry Collins is on his way out of the Mets dugout. They do have action in the bullpen.
Herman is warming up, has been.
It's the slowest pitch you've ever seen.
Not the pitching coach, but the manager on this first visit.
Tough spot for the manager. I mean, this guy is brought in to try to give them some innings, take the place of some people that they've lost through injury. He doesn't know him very well. He doesn't know his personality very well at all. Trying to get to know him, trying to be fair, but at the same time, he's got to be fair to his ball club and those guys that are standing in the outfield and infield waiting for pitches to be thrown.
No balls and a strike.
What did you call that a minute ago? And the Red Sox had to spend X number of dollars
Posting fee.
I think the Mets ought to see if they could get a posting fee out of someone from Japan.
To take him back?
Yes.
Yeah. It's worth a try.
Thanks for your positive
Yes.
feeling for him.
Yeah. That's the cruel nature of this game, is it not? I mean, this guy, when his first couple of years in Boston, there was really nothing like him in Major League Baseball. And thrown in the teeth of that Yankee-Red Sox rivalry, pitching in big games. He was as good as it got in the American League. And then the injuries have taken their toll, and now you're seeing a shell of what he once was, and that's a shame. It really is a shame.
That was the 34th pitch of the inning. Let me just say this, and I'm not, trust me, folks, I'm not making fun of the guy. I'm not poking fun of the fact that the Red Sox spent so much money on him, because for the first 2 or 3 years of the Red Sox, he was lights out.
Absolutely.
Worth every penny that they
doubt.
spent, in their view. What I'm saying is his style of pitching is okay when you're pitching well and winning. And when you're not, when you're getting beat up, it doesn't play well. And it doesn't play well with your teammates.
Did he go? Yes, he did, and that will retire the side. A big inning for the Braves. They played 4 more runs. A huge day for Freddie Freeman. His 18th home run, part of a 5 RBI day for him. And Atlanta leads after 2 by a 6-1 score.
Two grandparents who are loving this one after Freddie Freeman's home run. That would be Ed and Flo watching this game back in California, and Freddie tells us just how important they are to him.
I'm very, very close to my grandparents, and you know, I get texts from them daily. You know that yes, they do text me, so you know it's pretty awesome. And they were just here with me this last whole homestand, and they even went to St. Louis. So you know, it's just me being on the East Coast and my family being on the West, them coming out and following me around. You know, it just makes me feel home, and you know they've been so close to me this my whole life, and just be here on Grandparents' Day, and you know knowing that they're with me, it's pretty awesome.
Now, my grandparents are at the ballpark today, so I found a substitute. This is my new friend, L.J. Matheny. He's from Champaign, Tennessee. He's got 4 great grandkids, and guys, at 92 years old, this is his first ever Braves game.
That is so awesome.
Really cool.
Tell him happy Grandparents' Day for us, Tom.
I certainly will, but guys, he's wondering, do they always take this long?
He was 42 when this game started, Tom.
He's got to take some medicine in a little bit. You know?
He watches every Braves game on television, and the folks that he came with from his church back in Tennessee said he's known to skip out on post-church dinners to go watch the Braves game and get in the action.
Well, why not?
That's right. Well, we know the good Lord's a Braves fan. I don't think he minds, does he?
No, that's wonderful, though. From Champaign, Tennessee. We'll have to get laser on that MapQuest on that one.
A roller foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Daniel Murphy. He flied out to center his first time up. Mahalam now stake to a big lead, 6-1. Go after these guys. He's thrown a lot of pitches. This will be his 57th.
Both pitchers through 2 innings combined 112 pitches.
There's a ground ball. And got that one. And Murphy is the first out. So he's 0 for 2. Here's Josh Satin. He doubled in the Mets first. Well, too bad about Ike Davis. A real lost season for him. Exiled to AAA. Had that big hitch in his swing. When he came back, seemingly was swinging the bat better for New York. But, man, if you're the Mets, what do you do with Ike Davis now?
I don't know. I'm going to be very surprised if he's back in a Mets uniform next year. I don't think he's free agent eligible, but he may be one of those non-tendered guys. We see guys tweak an oblique, and we see them kind of grab at their side, but watch this. I mean, he almost went down. Had a hard time walking off the field in Washington.
And when Ike Davis got to the big leagues in 2010, the Mets were thinking, wow, we've got two guys on the corner now who can really mash the baseball. David Wright, obviously, on the third base side of the diamond, and Davis at first. He hit 19 home runs that season, hit 264. Real good work for a rookie. In 2011, very limited duty for Davis, as Josh Satin squibs one past Freddie Freeman down the right field line. He's a slow runner, and the ball gets by Schaefer and trickles down the right field line. And Josh Satin will stand at third base. What happened to Jordan at the fence?
I think he had designs on throwing a slow runner out at second base on what should have been an easy double. And he got over there and got against the wall and couldn't pin it, couldn't trap it because it got under the padding. That padding goes all the way to the ground, soapbox time. Then he's able to get over there and trap the ball and keep it from getting by him. It'll be a hit and an error.
So Satin with a pair of doubles in the game. He's at third base for Andrew Brown and one out. Back to Ike Davis, 2011, he hit 302. And then last year, 32 homers, 90 RBIs, scored 66 runs, but hit 227.
Last year?
Last year.
And he missed a lot of time. Remember that bad foot, didn't he?
That was
in. Or was that 11?
That was 11. He only played 36 games that year.
Okay.
Last year, 156 games. And so Ike Davis in his career should be entering his prime seasons. He's only 26.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be a little soon to non-tender a guy that had that kind of year last year. And as you saw there a minute ago, good numbers against the Braves. Okay, we found out, Laser found out for us where Champaign, Tennessee is. For those of you like me that weren't sure. It's northeast of McMinnville, Tennessee, just west of Tandy Knob.
That's very helpful. Brown swings and misses. He's out number 2. I'm sure they have a great high school football team there. I'm guessing the Champaign Sentinels would be the nickname. What do you think?
Well, it's spelled Campagne.
Oh, like Campagna?
Yeah, I was thinking more like Campaign Bubbly.
Might be. Well, see if Dave can figure that out for us too. This Juan Lagares, runner at third, 2 outs, and strike one to him. He scored the first Mets run. How'd they get this guy? Check the book. Non-drafted free agent out of the Dominican Republic.
Constanza, born in Constanza, Dominican. I wonder if Jose is aware of the town of Constanza.
Swing and a miss on the Ephus pitch. 2-2. Lagares walks with 2 out. Second walk for Mahalam in the game. And first and third for Justin Turner. College football fans, don't miss a second of SEC Gridiron Live. Join James Bates, Tim Couch, Elizabeth Morrow, and Ovi Muhele as they break down what is arguably the strongest conference in college football. That's SEC Gridiron Live, Wednesday at 10 on Fox Sports South. Look out. That's whistled into the seats over the Braves dugout. Strike 1.
They're so good here at Turner Field on line drives hit in the stands like that, with the ushers immediately going down to make sure everybody was okay, but also the emergency personnel that are kind of scattered throughout the stadium that are Johnny on the spot.
And that fan on the first base side apparently is all right. Those are the fine folks in those lime green colored shirts that have the medical help in the backpack. Turner squibs one out to second, and Simmons handles the flip and retires Lagares and the Mets. Here we go, bottom of the 3rd inning. Our Delta Airlines on deck trio hopes to extend a 6-1 Braves lead. Fox Sports 1 for a game update. Thank you, Ryan. That's the National League Central up to the minute. 3-team race and a lot of time left. B.J. Upton leads off for the Braves. Dan Uggla and Andrelton Simmons will follow. We mentioned yesterday how excited everyone in Braves country was at B.J.'s big game against the Marlins. The game-tying 2-run homer, then the walk-off hit in the 11th
7th inning. Hopefully that sets the stage for this month of September, which historically has been Upton's best major league month. Look at his career totals. He's done his best work in September, and that's our Coors Light cold hard fact.
Most home runs in September since 2010. Adrian Beltre with the most, but BJ is second ahead of Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder of the Tigers. Sometimes when Dice K freezes with his hands above his head, it almost looks like his spikes are stuck on the pitching rubber and he can't get them position where he can turn his foot. So he's really got nowhere to go.
Popped up shallow right. Murphy gives way to Brown, and the glass is gleaming. Andrew makes the catch, and Upton is the first out. Dan rolled out to third his first time up, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. High and tight, 1 ball, no strikes.
Nobody got too many hits yesterday off of Nathan Eovaldi, and while Uggla and BJ both got shut out, they both drew a walk, and Dan hit the ball hard. Remember to left field, it kind of had some top spin that died right at the wall. Hit another ball hard to third. There were some good signs for him too, just no hits to show for it.
Swing and a miss. Uggla's retired on strikes. We've been talking a lot about the national media's perception of the Braves ball club, and we yesterday made mention of all the reasons why we think the Braves are overlooked. I think it's fair to say one of the reasons why the Braves may be greeted with some skepticism with postseason play. They got 2 regulars hitting under 200.
And I get that, and I can understand why people feel that way. And I would say if understood. However, they're not 2 young players who just got called up that are unproven. They're guys that have been through it and done it. BJ had a great postseason with Tampa Bay a few years ago when they got to the World Series. Last year had the great September. Dan Uggla's got 21 homers. So it's there for those guys. They're not going to rally and get their average up to 250, but it's there for them to have a good month and still be big time contributors in the postseason, and you can't ignore that.
Simmons skies 1 into shallow center. Lagares is under it, and he'll give way to Eric Young, and the left fielder makes the catch, and that is a 1-2-3 inning. First of the game. We head to the 4th, 6-1. Braves lead it.
by the Home Depot and by Toyota.
Big lead for the Braves after 3. The bottom part of the order coming up for the Mets in the top half of our 4th inning. Braves 2013 postseason tickets are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to see the Braves make their postseason run this October here at Turner Field. National League Division Series tickets are now available. Get them at Braves.com/postseason today. Final day of regular season play is Sunday the 29th. Playoffs start on Wednesday?
I would guess just a guess, that the wild card thing would be on Tuesday.
Tuesday, maybe you're right. So that'd be.
And then putting in the playoffs start Thursday and Friday.
October 1st would be Tuesday. Thursday would be the 4th.
And typically, if you played in the wild card game, you might not start till Friday. The winner would go to the site where they're going to play and start Friday. But that's the vice president of common sense speaking. I don't really have any idea.
So totally ignore that. It'll be planned to be announced 24 hours before the games are to be played. High to Wilmer Flores. Mahala with a 6-1 lead has gone 3-0 to the 7th place hitting Met third baseman.
This is where your dad would say, "Come on, Paul." Well said, Ford.
Thank you.
Good grief.
Leadoff walk. Here's Recker. He walked in the 2nd inning. Fly down the right field line. Schaefer will not have a play. Valiant effort, but a strike to Recker.
Zach Lutz getting ready to pinch hit for Dice K.
You know, Recker spelled backwards is Recker. And he singles after that horrible impersonation. 2 on, nobody out. And Dice K will be pinch hit for. Lutz is coming on. Zach Lutz in the 4th. Dice K, 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks.
He's got to be sitting in the dugout saying, "Man, I just got my act together.
I just woke up.
I had a 1-2-3 inning."
Yeah. I can hear it now, or read it now. The Mets beat writers. Terry Collins with a quick hook. Dice K out of the game, who also, as producer Joe Vincia said, had their only RBI, and is taken down for a pinch hitter here in the 4th. 7 hits, 6 runs in 3 innings for Dice K. Totals with the Mets: 15 earned runs in 12 1/3 innings. Paul Maholm's not sharp today. And the Braves bullpen is beginning to stir. These are the kinds of starts for any major league pitcher. You get a big lead like this and your bullpen's up in the 4th inning. It's not good.
Well, like I said, this is not what Paul wanted to have happen today. He just can't find the plate. '86. Am I seeing that correct? 86 pitches.
And the 87th is hammered to center. BJ going back, checks the fence, and it's off the fence. And we've got a relay race on the base paths for New York. Flores scores. Recker almost ran into his third base coach and had to stop. What in the world happened to BJ Upton on that play at the center field fence?
I have no idea.
Recker and Flores almost overlapped each other between second base and third. Flores came around and scored. Recker almost ran into the Mets third base coach. And Lutz with a double gets 1 RBI to make it a 6-2 game.
BJ ran to a spot on the wall that was a good 6 or 8 feet away from where the ball actually hit. I don't know what happened.
Young pushes a bunt. Mahalam checks the runner back to third, and Eric is out at first. So second and third, 1 out now, and Murphy will come in.
That was one that the Braves would say, well, thank you very much, Eric. Not sure what he was trying to accomplish there, other than maybe bunt for a hit and get a run in. The manager might like to know too.
Fly ball down the left field line. Justin in foul ground makes the catch. The tag throw to the plate is off the glove of McCann and backed up by Mahalam. No advance by Lutz from second base. Recker scores on a sacrifice fly by Murphy. It's now a 6-3 game.
Tough play when you run right up against the wall and then have to try and make a throw. And he made a good strong throw. Just wasn't going to be there in time.
'66 RBIs for Murphy now. And the Mets come back to make it a 6-3 game. And Josh Satin, the hitter. He's had 2 doubles today.
Braves got some excellent long relief yesterday from Freddie Garcia, who went 4 2/3 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball. Varvaro 2 innings of shutout ball.
And Lieutenant Short, gloves, grabs, and guns to first in time. First 3 Mets runners reach in the 4th inning. 2 of them score. The lead now trimmed to 6-3. Braves lead it.
Just moments ago in St. Louis, Yadier Molina was removed from the game due to wrist soreness. He was 0 for 2 against the Reds today. His average has dipped to .327. Guys, you know, this division race is likely wrapped up, and the Braves are aiming for the postseason. It should be a lot of fun watching Chris Johnson over the next 4 weeks of the regular season.
Absolutely. It's always fun to see one of your hometown players go for the top mark in your league or in Major League Baseball. And Chris is rolling merrily along again with the top average in Major League, or top average in the National League, I should say. But for the Cardinals, you talk about a critical injury. If the injury to Molina is of any seriousness, that is a crippling blow for that club.
No doubt about it. He's the heart and soul of their team.
So that's something to keep an eye on in the next few days, as Molina was already on the DL and just came back with some hamstring problems.
Here's a good story, though. Tim Burdick called up from AAA just yesterday. He underwent shoulder surgery to repair a torn interior capsule in his left shoulder. It's September, just about a year ago, and he was in 23 minor league games getting ready to come back to the big leagues, make it 26 minor league games. So this is his first appearance since that shoulder surgery.
And Paul Maholm hits a rocket to first. Josh Satin is there to retire him for the first out. Tim's been around a long time. He's 39 years old. He'll turn 40 on Halloween. First broke into the big leagues in 1998 with Kansas City. This is his third season with the Mets. Good day for Jordan Schaefer. Let's see if he can improve his work against lefties. And he looks at a strike.
This is inspiration, I think, for Tim Hudson. I mean, to have such a serious injury and surgery as Burdick did at age 39 last year, or 38 last year, and now to come back at 39 and to be pitching at a major league level. I mean, that's Tim's 38 and had the ankle injury. That's inspiration to know that everything can be okay come spring training.
Back up the middle. Have yourself a day, Jordan Schaefer. These are really important at bats for Jordan. As we mentioned the other day, he's had his share of problems hitting lefties this season. Schaefer came into play today. 2 for 23 against lefties. But he's 3 for 3 in his first 3 at bats today. Here's Justin. He has singled, walked, and scored 2 runs. Understand why Burdick is pitching Justin Upton carefully, but look who's on deck. And on deck is the man that's had the biggest day of any hitter in the game today. Pitch behind in the count. 3 balls and a strike.
everything away. Sinker and backdoor breaking ball.
Strike three. Upton out on a delayed call. And he's the second out of the inning. Freddie Freeman, as I mentioned, having a huge day at the plate. He's our SunTrust shining moment.
This is a big lick in the first inning. 2-run double over the head of Andrew Brown. Drove in Schaefer and Justin Upton. And then the second inning off Daisuke. A launch job. 3-run homer. He's got 5 RBIs through his first 2 at-bats in 2 innings. Ties his career high.
Schaefer's running. Pitch low. Recker's throw high. Schaefer has his 3rd steal of the game. You're seeing why Jordan Schaefer could be such a valuable weapon in postseason play. If he can get on base with his speed, he can single-handedly change the tenor of the game with his legs, if not his bat.
And again, look how fast he's sliding along the ground.
Ground ball by Freeman to first, and Satin will take care of the Braves' first baseman. Atlanta fails to score in the 4th. We head to the 5th. It's a 6-3 Braves game. And here in Atlanta, Braves baseball on Sports South is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Paul Maholm needs an easy inning. He has not had a 1-2-3 frame today. He has thrown 92 pitches through 4. He's got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters up for the Mets in a 3-run affair. Popped up behind the plate. Brian McCann, basket catch, and he makes the play. Brown's retired.
Brian's made some good plays on the screen in the last couple of homestands. Those aren't easy to do. To be able to catch that one before the ball hit the screen and before he did. Nice play.
Lagares has an infield hit and he's walked. He's also scored one of the 3 Mets runs. Fly ball, right field. Schaefer, good speed near the line. Last second adjustment and makes the grab. 2 outs. Little blue sky popping up beyond the right field roof. Lights are on. Still heavy cloud cover over the ballpark. And Justin Turner bats. He's got an 0 for 2.
Wind's picked up a little bit, blowing out toward right. I don't know if that signals anything or not, but one more out for it to be an official contest.
Simmons gives ground at short from the cut of the outfield grass, makes a nice play. Ask and ye shall receive. Mahalam does get his first 1-2-3 inning. It's an official game and the Braves officially winning by 3 runs. By Georgia Power, by Ram Trucks, and by AT&T. 6-3 Atlanta. Nice crowd again here at Turner Field. Braves have already gone over the 2 million mark in attendance. There are 2.1 million fans so far this year, averaging about 32,000 per game. 12 more home games left after this one against the Mets.
Had a good crowd yesterday, over 38,000, 38,441 to be exact, that didn't enjoy the outcome of the game, but they certainly enjoyed the concert after the game with Big and Rich. A lot of the folks stuck around for that.
So Burdack back out there for his second inning. Brian McCann, Chris Johnson, and B.J. Upton are up. Reds 6, Cardinals 2 in the 7th. Tom Hart reported Yadi Molina left with a wrist injury for St. Louis. Pirates 1, Milwaukee 1. That one's in the 3rd inning. Christian Yelich and Henderson Alvarez have hit homers for Miami today.
Is that right?
They lead at Wrigley Field 4-3 in the second. Wind must be blowing out in Chicago.
This guy's given Brian trouble in the past. He's 1 for 10 against him.
Boy, there's a lot of pawing and pacing around by these Mets defenders, and understandably so. Very early arrival in Atlanta and a quick turnaround thanks to the Sunday night baseball game played by the Mets last night. Word has it they got to their team hotel around 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. Terry Collins said to his club, we'll have an 11 o'clock bus, get to the ballpark, and ready to go at 1 o'clock. Bryant pops one up into the shift. Murphy flipped the glasses down. He's under it. Oh, he's got it. And there's out number 1. Fox Sports 1 is now available on all major TV providers. Go to foxsports1.com to find out what channel Fox Sports 1 will be on in your area. Couple of changes will be coming for New York. Tim Burdack will be taken down after an inning and a third of 1 hit, 1 strikeout relief. We'll tell you about the other change for the Mets, who trail 6-3 in the Atlanta 5th, right after this. Den Decker takes over in center field. Juan Lagares moves from center field to right field. And a man we've seen on the mound a couple of times for New York in relief is Gonzalez Herman. He's on to pitch to Chris Johnson, the Braves' third baseman.
Herman's 1-2 in 20 games with .380 ERA and a save. 21 strikeouts in 23 innings. Well, I can't wait to see Den Decker play center field, because if he's better than Lagares, to move Lagares to right field, then I want to see this guy.
Baseball America, I believe, had Den Decker rated as the best defensive outfielder in their system. And with what we've seen out of Lagares, you're right. He must be really good if that's the case. Den Decker, the 15th rated prospect in the Mets organization. Ball, 1 strike for Chris. And fooled by Herman's slider. It's 1-2.
Herman worked 2/3 of an inning last night against the Nationals. The Mets blew a lead late. Nationals got 3 in the 8th and won the game 6-5. He worked 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, and gave up a run.
That's into shallow right field for Chris Johnson. He started the day hitting .333. He's hitting .333 today.
A hit a day keeps the old slumps away. That was right in, as you said, on his thumbs. Here's that camera angle. Look how he had to pull his hands in to get the fat part of the bat to it. He's as good as there is in the National League at that. There are your up-to-date batting leaders. Jason Worth with enough at bats finally to qualify.
Worth and Washington play the Phillies later tonight. 1 ball, no strikes for B.J. Upton. Braves are having another good homestand. They've won 5 of the first 6 games during this 9-game stretch at home. They swept Cleveland. They took 2 out of 3 from Miami. They are off to a good start against the Mets today. There's a shot down the left field line. That'll get down and bounce off the fence. Johnson on his way to third. He'll be stopped. B.J. Upton with a ringing double with 1 out.
Looked like a breaking ball, too. Stayed back, kept his hands back. No, not a breaking ball. Fastball running in on him. He got his hands in to turn on that ball. More good sign for BJ at the plate.
Now the infield comes in. Dan Uggla's the hitter. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
Dan's 0 for 1 against him.
Popped him up. Turner at short, and that's the second out. Two on, 2 out in the Braves' 5th.
Time for Georgia Power Energy Tip number 1. Tyler Pasternak, number 1. In less than 15 minutes, learn ways to make your home more energy efficient with Georgia Power's free online energy checkup. Visit georgiapower.com/energy checkup. Has Tyler had his surgery? I have not heard that.
You know, I think he has. I saw him in the locker room about 5 days ago. And he had bandages all around his knee.
I'm going to say yes.
Unless he Yeah, unless he was in a bicycling accident and scraped himself up. Pretty sure he did. Tom Hart tells us that he has had the surgery. That's really amazing, isn't it? I can have major knee surgery like that in just a couple of days. They're up and about, walking around again. Think of it. Really hundreds of careers that medicine has saved in just baseball alone.
Well, that less invasive arthroscopic surgery has really changed things a lot in terms of the healing process.
If Andrelton hit that, he might have driven that through the 755 club. Down the left field line. That's fair. That's going to score 2 runs. Simmons with a 2-out double.
Remember how for half the season that was a real problem for Andrelton, real bad numbers hitting with runners in scoring position and 2 out. That has changed a lot in the second half. And he waited on a changeup and hooked it into the corner. Looks like he's going to get the rest of the day off.
Jose Constanza will pinch hit for Paul Maholm. Paul leaves after 5 innings of 3-run baseball. He walked 3 men. Got him with 3 strikeouts as well. The Mets touched him for 6 hits. One off on Maholm's strikeout count. I beg your pardon. He's got 4. Thank you, fellas. So 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 runs, 6 hits for Paul. Ground ball on a 2-0 count. Murphy flips to first in time. Andrelton Simmons is getting in on the hitting fun. The Braves have scored 8 times on 11 hits. Simmons with a 2 RBI afternoon. Sports One studios in Los Angeles for a game update. Thanks so much. If the Pirates can win today, that would be victory number 80 for the Pittsburgh Ball Club. They have not had a winning season since '92, as you know, and they are neck and neck with the Cardinals in the Central.
I think they're going to get their winning season.
Yeah.
We'll go out on a limb there.
And Paul Maholm out after 5 innings of work. He's in line to pick up the victory. Luis Ayala will grab a baseball and pitch here in the 6th inning.
Luis is 1-1 in 25 games. .280 average against him. Worked in 2 games of the Miami series, but did not work yesterday. Lead has been extended back to 5 runs. Just a matter of making him put the ball in play.
Outside to Wilmer Flores, who has struck out, walked, and scored today. He's got 1 hit in his last 19 at bats. One ball, 2 strikes. Flores expanded his strike zone and rolls out second. Good start for Luis. Gets ground ball out to start the top of the 6th inning. Game 2 of the series is here tomorrow night, a 7:10 first pitch, and here are your Chevron probable starting pitchers.
Carlos Torres pitched well against the Braves up in New York. He's 3-2 on the year with a real good ERA. And Chris Medlin, like Paul Maholm today, trying to get his record back to 500. Chris at 11-12 on the year. Chris has made 3 starts against the Mets this year. He's 1-1. 2 walks, 20 strikeouts in 18 innings.
Chris pitched a brilliant game his last time out against Cleveland. And Recker hits a line drive to left. One of the hardest hit balls of the day by the Mets, but right at Upton, who made a running catch. And 2 are out. And here's Den Decker. Matt Den Decker had a big night last night. His first major league homer. It came off Ross Ollendorf for the Nationals. Had 2 hits. And he's driven in a run in each of his last 2 games for New York. Decker 6'1", 205, a 5th round pick out of Florida in the 2010 draft.
So he's not from Brussels?
Well, he might have been. Maybe transferred.
I mean, you pretty much figure he's from Brussels, maybe Amsterdam, and played on the Dutch national team, right?
I would think. Let's check the Mets guide.
But he's from Fort Lauderdale.
He was quite a player in Southeastern Conference action. He made the All-SEC team 3 straight years. Well, the 2nd player in conference history to do that.
For what school?
The Gators.
Oh.
Florida Gator. Ball sliced toward left. And Ayala has an easy time of it in the Mets half of the 6th inning. 3 up and 3 men down.
Schaefer set to lead off the 6th. He's the subject of our Coors Light Cold Freeze Cam. Good crossover step today has helped him steal 3 bases and get him to 20 on the year. Quick takeoff, then the slide. This is the 3rd of 3. Gliding right across the top of the dirt. Love that camera. The Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
That's what I was alluding to earlier, and what kind of an impact Jordan Schaefer can have for this ball club.
10 swipes in his last 15 games. That's because he's getting on base.
And he's done that today with a perfect 3-for-3 afternoon. He's also scored 2 runs. He's knocked in a run, and now he'll face another lefty in Pedro Feliciano. Limited duty for the veteran Met lefty. Fly ball toward left. Last second adjustment, makes the catch and slams into the padding.
He lost that ball for just a second. Really had to turn on the jets a little bit to get over there. But holds on. Nice play.
Justin Upton with 1 out. He scored a couple of runs today. And dumps one down the right field line. That is a fair ball. Upton's 23rd double.
Second time he's done that today. This one for a 2-base hit. He's been on base 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. He has scored twice. And a little 1-out Ric Flair to right.
Freddie hits lefties well. He hits extremely well with runners in scoring position, and he loves the first pitch. All of those things in play here in the 6th. That one too high to offer. 1 ball, no strikes.
This guy's had nothing but arm troubles the last couple of years.
Oh, that ball stayed down. A nice pick by Wilmer Flores. That was a tricky play. 2 outs.
Get right on the edge of the grass. If he were more upright, expecting a good hop, he would have missed this. He's down, and because he was down and bent over at the waist ready, able to adjust. Nice play.
2 men out for Brian McCann.
Now Feliciano was activated on August 2nd against the Royals. It's the first game he pitched in since October of 2010.
One of the big stories, if not the biggest story for the Mets club this year, would have to be all the pitching injuries that they've had. What was it? 10 players DL'd?
9.
9, and all of them are pitchers except for David Wright.
Right. That's correct.
Yet Terry Collins has guided the Mets to a 62-win season.
He's got to keep his roster close.
Who are those guys? Base hit by McCann to left. Streaking around and scoring is Justin Upton. And would you believe it? That was Brian McCann's first RBI against the Mets this year. And it makes it a 9-3 game.
Well, he pretty much darted this one right in between them. Turner and Flores. Flores had the best shot at it, but that had some eyes on it, and an RBI for Brian, his 52nd.
Two outs for Chris Johnson. 13 Atlanta hits. And that's in for a called strike. Make it 14 hits. Chris Johnson has 2 today.
Hey, get them while they're hot.
He'll just continue to add to that batting title lead. Johnson with his 44th multi-hit game.
What a good year he's had. And a month ago, I've said this before about one of my old hitting coaches in the minor leagues with the Dodgers, Dixie Walker, who always said you got to be greedy. There's going to be too many other days where you can't buy a hit. So you get one at the start of a game, you work to get 2. If you got 2, you want 3, and so on. Be greedy.
Broken bat liner, left field line. That's a fair ball. 1 run scores. Here comes Johnson to third. He'll stop there. B.J. Upton with an RBI double.
Same goes for B.J. Be greedy. Been scuffling to get hits all year long. Trying to make up for it now. Off-speed pitch, a little off the end of the bat, but because his hands were back, he was able to wait on the pitch just enough. And he's got his 25th RBI.
The Braves today 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position.
Vic Black is loosening up. I believe he's the guy that came from the Pirates.
Correct.
Marlon Byrd, John Buckfield.
They also got a minor league infielder, Dilson Herrera, whom some of the scouting services think might be the Mets' second baseman in the next couple of years. He's a legitimate infield prospect. Here's Uggla. Got to get Dan going. He's 0 for 3 again today. And a strike. I've got Dan at 2 for his last 17 at the plate.
Okay, here's the thing with Dan. When we're talking about going out around pitches, no team's going to give him a pitch in here. That's where he wants it. They're not going to give it to him in here. So they pitch him out here, and he has to go out and try to get around pitches, and that's why his swing is long and why he's struggling to get hits. It makes sense if they see him, if the pitcher and catcher see him really looping that swing out to the left-handed batter's box to try to get pitches, why come in? And if you do it just for show. So the point is, until he's willing to take that pitch to right center and hurt teams, they're not going to bother to offer him anything that's over the plate, inner third.
It's almost the mirror image of Jordan Schaefer, who said he lost left field. It's almost as if Dan has lost right field as a right-hand hitter.
No doubt.
He watched that one sail outside. And Feliciano's having a rough Atlanta 6th. He has loaded the bases. And Terry Collins will again come out to Tim McClellan with the lineup card and make another couple switches.
Hey, Terry's tired too.
Yeah. He said if Dice K pitches a slow game, I may try to come up with the Davy Johnson back spasms and take the rest of the afternoon off. As Dad would say,
yeah, the bases are loaded, and Terry Collins wishes he was too.
10-3 Atlanta. All season long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day.
Talking about Dan's lack of right field hits, that kind of shows you right there. Pretty much dead pull hitter. Only 7 hits to right field this year. So Vic Black is on to pitch, and this is his first appearance with the Mets. He was in 3 games with the Pirates, but had a good year going in AAA with Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. He was 5-3 with 17 saves and a .251 ERA, and had struck out 63 batters in his 46 innings. In the minor leagues, 5 minor league seasons, 178 innings, struck out 217 batters.
Guess which draft he came in?
09, huh? Really?
First round supplemental. They signed him for $717,000 and was one of the hardest throwers in that 2009 draft. And that's saying something with the guys we've seen.
Strasburg and Storen, yeah.
His fastball's been clocked at a high as 101 miles an hour. That one at 97. Lucas Duda's checked in to play first base. Josh Satton's moved across the diamond. He'll play third. And Vic Black making his Mets debut. Simmons skies to right. And Lagares makes the catch. And that will retire the side. The Braves pick up 2 more runs in the 6th inning. They're leading the Mets 10-3 after 6. Six innings of play. And here's our Zaxby's indescribably good plays today.
Some good offense today. Boy, I still love that slide by Justin in the first inning. Freddie Freeman, 5 RBIs today. B.J. Upton with a couple of doubles. Andrelton's got 1. Justin's got a couple of hits. Chris Johnson's got 2 hits. B.J. 2 doubles his last 2 times up. So check it out. The series against Miami, 7 runs in 3 games. Today they've got 10 and 15 hits today. That ought to make Nathan Eovaldi feel pretty good about his work yesterday, given that the Braves have gone into double digits today.
I dare say Eovaldi might have been maybe the best start of the Braves have seen as far as pure stuff is concerned.
Twice.
Yeah. It's taken nothing away from Matt Harvey. He was also extremely impressive for New York the first time we saw him. And Zach Wheeler too, for that matter. They're all in our division. Here's Young facing Scott Downs. First pitch bounced up the middle. Simmons can't corral that one. And Eric Young will reach with a leadoff infield hit. At least it should be.
Yeah, I think so. Ball came up pretty hard. as Hendrickson was trying to get himself in a position to throw. Scott Downs in his 4th game of the homestand. His last one was 2 days ago against, actually 3 days ago against Miami, a 1/3 of an inning.
Low and outside to Murphy. Murphy has an RBI. That was a 4th inning sacrifice fly. He's got 66, and Joey scored 80 runs.
Yeah, I don't know what the knock is on this guy, if there are any, especially in New York, because he's been very steady for them in the time he's been in the big leagues. He always puts the ball in play. I guess if there is a knock, he's made 16 errors at second base. Excuse me, 13 errors. Nope, I was right the first time. $16 errors.
Line drive to left field. Murphy has a 7-game hitting streak, and the Mets have 2 on and nobody out. Maybe our opinion is skewed a bit because we only see him 18 or 19 times a year, but every time we see the Mets, he seems to get 2, 3, 4 hits in a series against Braves pitching.
Yeah, but I think 18 or 19 times ought to give you a pretty good
idea.
Yeah,
but
but you're right. He always swings the bat well against Atlanta, and he's got a .280 batting average, closing in on .290. He may not be destined for second base. He may be a first baseman.
How big is he? He's not 5'10", I don't think.
No, I think he's like 6'1", 6'2", 215. Blazer says
that's good enough. That's good enough over there, isn't it?
Yeah. So if they decided maybe not to bring Ike Davis back for whatever reason, he might be a candidate to be their everyday first baseman.
And you've got Turner, you've got Omar Quintanilla, and Ruben Tejada for shortstop or second base. Josh Satin takes a big breaking ball, 0-2 the count to him.
Well, you just mentioned that kid Dilson Herrera that they got from the Pirates. I don't know how close he is to the big leagues, but if he's as good as they say, he might put some pressure on that spot next year.
Yeah, Herrera was Pittsburgh's 20th rated prospect by Baseball America. Last year he played in the Gulf Coast League and the New York Penn League.
So he's probably a year or two away.
He'll be Herrera, that is. He'll be 20 next March, and he's out of Colombia. Dale Murphy said that South America is, other than Venezuela, which has always had a huge Major League Baseball pipeline, but Colombia, Brazil, he feels are 2 areas that are really starting to become baseball hotbeds. Down and into Satin, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braves led 6-1 after 2 innings of play today. Mets made it 6-3 with a 2-run 4th. Atlanta, though, with 2 runs in the 5th and 2 runs in the 6th inning. Big day for Freddie Freeman. He doubled and homered, knocking in 5 runs in his first 2 at-bats on the day. Swing and a miss. Satin is struck out. Fans who want to secure their postseason ticket strips today are invited to put down a deposit on 2014 season tickets to secure their seats for this October. All postseason ticket strips must be purchased by September 4th. So call 404-577-9100 or visit Braves.com/postseason today.
We got some numbers on some of the Braves minor league teams and players with their seasons all wrapping up at the latest today, I believe. And well, there were some good years put together by guys. Ernesto Mejia again at Gwinnett with 28 home runs. Had another good year. But I wanted to tell you, if you didn't know, about Frank Wren's son Kyle, who played at Georgia Tech. He started the year at Danville in the short A League.
Hot shot up the middle and into center field for a hit. Young will come around and score. And the Mets put runners at the corners with one out. That makes it a 10-4 game. Lucas Duda with an RBI hit.
First run allowed by the Braves bullpen in 2 days after all that work yesterday. But anyway, Kyle Wren, 22 at bats at Danville, was 9 for 22 and got promoted to Rome. And he hit .328 in 47 games. That's good. Real good. But here's the difference maker. In 47 games, he scored 36 runs. And he stole 32 bases out of 38 tries in those 47 games.
Deep short. Simmons has that one ricochet off the heel of his glove. Even if he makes a play, I'm not sure he has a play at second or first base. That ball was perfectly placed.
Yeah, base hit.
So 4 hits allowed by Scott Downs in the 7th, and that's going to be it for him. Murphy scores on the play, and the Mets have 2 more on with 1 out. 10-5 game. And that last ball hit in play was ruled an error on Andrelton Simmons.
Shouldn't have been.
That one
should have been a base hit.
Might be subject to review. Back to Atlanta in a moment.
Again, because this ball came up on him. He's going to his backhand deep in the hole. I'm not sure where the out was going to come from. I mean, he got over there and knocked it down. We see him glove those a lot, but the ball did come up, and from deep in the hole, I don't know who he was going to throw out. So base hit in my book.
Lagares credited with an RBI. You can't assume a double play there. He did put the ball in play and is rewarded for doing so. Now David Carpenter will face Justin Turner. The Mets not giving up. It's a 10-5 Atlanta game. They've scored twice so far here in the 7th. Back to the screen. So let me ask you about Kyle Wren, and maybe not him specifically, but a player who has a kind of year like he did. What would be the next natural progression for him finishing up at Rome? Would he start there again next year and then go to another A-ball club, or does he?
No, I wouldn't think so. I think he would move out of that league. You know, because he's a college player and played at a Division I school that played top-notch competition. You could see him easily starting the year in Double-A next year, I would say. But that's a decision for their player development people to make. And he might go play winter ball. I mean, when you play a college season and then you play a half a pro season, that's a lot of baseball. Maybe you'd be going to instructional league instead. That'd be a good idea.
That's popped up foul. And from those numbers you said, well, they won't have to teach Kyle how to run, will they?
No, that's one of the reasons they drafted him, is that he can really go. When the Braves played Cleveland, Laser Baker looked this up. Between the two teams, Braves and Cleveland total in those 3 games, they were 5 for 39. The two teams were 5 for 39 with runners in scoring position. Okay?
Yeah.
5 for 39.
Ground ball. That kicks off Freddie Freeman's body. Carpenter covers the first base bag. Freddie was thinking about a double play. Settles for the second out. 2 Mets runners now in scoring position.
Today alone, these two teams are 10 for 26.
Here's Omar Quintanilla. Quintanilla, a good glove and light hitting infielder. Batting .222 for the season. There's Jonathan Schuerholz. His second season at the helm of the Danville Braves this year. College player at Auburn, as you know.
Every year the Braves promote a minor league manager to come in and help out in September, and looks like Jonathan got the call this year. Good for him. Congratulations to him.
And the rest of the coaching staff always appreciates those minor league managers and coaches coming up. Hey, Jonathan, need somebody to throw a little extra BP.
Yeah.
Three balls, no strikes. On a walk, a .222 hitter. 3-1 to count now. Anthony's outside corner, full count. Final in Cincinnati, Matt Latos beat Adam Wainwright. The Reds over the Cardinals 7-2. Big series for the Reds. They win game 1 today. Pittsburgh's taken a 2-1 lead over Milwaukee in the middle innings at Miller Park. Here it's 10-5 Braves in the 7th. Fly ball well hit to right, but right at Jordan Schaefer. And that retires the side. 7th inning stretch, 5-run Atlanta lead.
Got the start. Schaefer, Freeman, and Upton providing the bats. It's been a fun one to watch, especially if you like offense. The Braves hitting coach Scott Fletcher almost missed out on the majority of this game. We just dug this up. Take a look back at what happened at the end of the first inning. Tim McClellan came over to the Braves dugout and had a chat with manager Freddie Gonzalez. Someone in the dugout had been chirping at home plate, and McClellan came to the dugout with the mind of throwing Scott Fletcher out of the game. However, Fletcher had already gone up the tunnel, back into the film room. They couldn't find him. At that point, McClellan thought maybe it was Carlos Tosca, so he almost ran Carlos from the game. Now, after all this occurred, cooler heads prevailed until Reed Johnson decided to have some fun, guys. He went up the tunnel, back to the film room. He said, Fletch, you just got tossed from the game. McClellan ran you. Fletcher did not know exactly the case, but now everybody's cool with it. And Fletcher said, you know, it's fight or flight, and that's what Walter Bradford Cannon, the physiologist, taught us. He got that flight part down pretty well.
Boy, could have done what Bobby Valentine did. Just get a pair of fake glasses and put a sticky mustache on the upper lip and just sit on the bench.
That worked well.
Yeah. This is David Aardsma. The Mets are emptying their bullpen out of necessity. Dice K started and was shelled for 6 runs in 3 innings. Carpenter, Schaefer, and Justin Upton coming up in the 7th. David Carpenter shoots one toward right, but Morris had him played shallowly. And David is out number 1. Let's get back to our trivia question after the Mets' best outfielder makes the easy play. Name the last Met outfielder to win a Gold Glove award.
Oh, boy. I liked your choice, Mookie Wilson.
That's who you're going to go with?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna, we'll flip choices. You said Beltran. I'm going to go with Carlos Beltran.
Okay.
Let's see if either one of us is right. And it was Carlos Beltran in 2008.
Way to go, Chip.
Way to go, Joe. 3-hit day for Jordan Schaefer. He scored twice. He's stolen 3 bases. He's knocked in a run. And one of those hits was a bunt. Did Schaefer hurt himself? Whatever he hurt feels a lot better. He's got a 4-hit game.
Still grabbing at his back though and kind of running stiff-legged. This is before the hit. Wasn't grabbing at that oblique area. He's grabbing at his lower back.
So big cheer for Jordan Schaefer, who had a 4-for-5 day in the leadoff spot. Elliot Johnson will pinch run for Atlanta in the 7th.
Just wasn't his normal gait. He was kind of dragging a leg as he made his way around first. Just gotten out of line or something.
1 on, 1 out. Justin Upton. He scored 3 runs today. And way high.
Now over 270 pitches combined between these two teams today. Fastball slider change for Ardsman. That was a change up. Fastball usually in the low to mid 90s. He's used primarily as a setup guy, but it was all hands on deck today for the Mets.
And if you missed it before, Delta Airlines, a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. Elliot Johnson got a huge jump. He could have crawled into second base.
Well, that spot in the order has 4 stolen bases today. And Elliot Johnson's now 16 for 16. Is that right?
I think you are right.
Yep.
So the number 30 car cruises into turn 2. And he's in scoring position for Justin Upton. Long day for the fans of the Metropolitans. Upton will take a walk. And Freddie Freeman has 2 more base runners on, this time in the 7th inning.
Boy, he's had a ton of them today, hasn't he? He drove in the first 5 he had opportunities to drive in. Came up with a runner at second in the 4th and struck out. Excuse me, grounded out. And grounded out in the 6th with runners aboard in scoring position.
A 5 RBI day today for the Braves first baseman. And he takes a called strike. Good cut. And foul back toward the press box. Do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Freddie chased one up and away and missed it. He's the second out. That pitch at 92 miles an hour, and it strikes out Freeman. But Ardsba's not out of trouble yet. Brian McCann's the batter.
Brian's got 2 hits today.
He's also scored and knocked in a run. He's up to 52 RBIs. I was shocked when I looked at the Braves season numbers against the Mets from an offensive standpoint. Brian McCann in 30 at bats had 0 RBIs against the Mets this year. Took care of that last time up.
Brian obviously taking it upon himself to try to get that ruling changed as he fouls one off into the press box on that error charge to Andrelton.
One ball, 1 strike. To short. And the peg to first in plenty of time, and that retires the Braves. On we go to the 8th. 10-5. Atlanta leads game 1 of the set. College football show is back from the SEC to the Pac-12. Watch James Bates and Coach Tommy Bowden every Thursday for in-depth coverage of the week's best matchups. You can catch the new college football show every Thursday at 7 on Fox Sports South.
Wayne Barry, our center field camera operator, has always had what he calls better ball, with some ways to improve the game and maybe speed the game along. Today is a perfect example of such a game. There's Wayne working our high center camera, and that would be just let the Mets hit. They get their 3 outs, okay, clear the bases, let them hit again.
Okay, right?
Because if they don't catch up, then the game would be over in 6 outs.
In other words, you don't have to hit. You don't have to add to your own offensive totals.
Right.
If you lead.
It's called better ball.
Elliot Johnson remains in the game in right field. We'll update you on Jordan Schaefer, who looked like he was having a back problem. One ball, no strikes to Anthony Recker, the Mets catcher. One of Wayne's other great better ball ideas, which would be a huge advantage for us at Turner Field because we have the best fielding fans in Major League Baseball.
No question.
Let's say if Anthony Recker hits a pop fly that goes into the stands, if the fan makes the catch, that would be an out.
Okay. Okay. Looks better.
Or if you step out of the batter's box, it's a strike. You have to stay in the batter's box at all times.
Well, that would cause Nick Swisher to retire.
Yes, it would. Wayne had another great idea. If you have 2 outs in an inning and runner at first and a ball is hit to the shortstop, first the pop up by Recker down the left field line. If you as a defense decide to try to turn the double play, even though there are 2 outs, you can do so, and that out would carry over to the next inning.
Wow.
So you'd only have to get 2 outs versus your opponent the next time they hit. The outs would roll over.
Better ball. Right. Cause you to run hard.
26,530. One that might be a little tough for the paying customers to handle, though, would be what would happen in the first inning. If the Mets fail to score in the first like they did today, and the Braves score 2 in their half of the first inning, game's over.
So it's a 1 inning.
That's it.
Winner take all?
Yeah.
Wow.
But maybe the most popular one for Major League Baseball sports writers would be what we could call the deadline rule. 2 hours or 7 innings, whichever comes first. I'm thinking either Joe Simpson or Wayne Barry for the next commissioner of baseball.
Just think, I mean, you put better ball with common sense. I like where this is headed.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Den Decker pops one up. And Justin makes the play at the shoulder level. 2 outs in the New York 8th. 4 up, 4 down for David Carpenter. Back to the top of the Mets order.
In my scorebook, I'm in a dilemma here with Matt Den Decker, because when a substitute comes in, I just put initials.
Yeah.
So do I have to put MDD for him, or do I just put MD?
That's a good question. Let me see.
I may have to call Pete Van Wieren on that one.
That's exactly who you should call.
Check how they
Yeah. Well, the question is, did you use a small d or a capital D?
I used capital.
I think that's wrong.
Is it a small d for the den?
Uh-huh. Now, Pete, his was capital V, capital W.
Correct.
Now, there are some who have small v, capitalized second letter. Ouch. Might have gotten Tim McClellan. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Brian was going to walk out and give him a second to kind of regroup. And Tim said, "Get back here." No, let's keep it rolling.
I'm tired.
Better ball.
Yep. The umpire gets hit. No meetings on the mound.
Yeah, get back.
A ball, 2 strikes. Nothing better than David Carpenter's work in this ball game. He's faced 5 Mets hitters and he's retired them all. 10-5. Atlanta the lead in the 8th.
like this, you need to find some humor, so we went in the dugout to find out who's the funniest Brave.
It's a tie between Med and Freddie Free. That's my 2 guys right there.
No Huddy?
Oh, well, when Huddy's in here, I mean, he's a blast. You know, I mean, he's been around, he's seen it all. You know, he's probably seen every trick in the book, and I'm sure he's invented a few of them, but I tell you what, we'll go top 3. Definitely Huddy, Med, and Freddie Free.
You got to go with Huddy. A lot of the stuff that he says, even when he's trying to be serious, sounds funny just because of his accent. So I got to go with Huddy. He's one of my favorites. Asking Winnie in the clubhouse, I think that they might say the same thing. But, you know, Elliott's showing some signs, some pretty spontaneous stuff he's dropping. But, yeah, I mean, myself, I think I might try too hard sometimes, but I try to be overly funny. I mean, Jay Hay, a lot of guys.
I have to say Chris Medlin.
You know, your name's been thrown out there a few times.
Really?
Surprise you?
No, I mean, I'm pretty awesome and hilarious, so I was just trying to defer to another teammate, but I guess I'll take it too.
Funniest guy in the ballpark tonight might be Tim McClellan. He just went over to get some attention to that right arm from the Braves trainers. and he had the entire dugout rolling. We don't know what he was saying, but anytime the home plate umpire can work the dugout and leave guys laughing, I say that's a good sign, and it's a sign that the guys in that dugout are probably winning.
That's a bonus. You're right. I just like the fact that Freddie said I'm pretty awesome.
He's also modest too, right?
Yeah. That was funny in its own right.
Got to tell you, Mr. Commissioner of Common Sense, fans on Twitter like the better ball idea. Liked a lot of the concepts.
Well, that's reason enough not to do it.
Good day for Chris. Another multi-hit affair. His average at .334. Barnes would try to save what's left of the Mets bullpen today. Try to get through the bottom of the 8th. Full count for Chris. Night game tomorrow night. It'll be a much needed evening and day of rest for the Mets and for the Braves too. Chris Medlin and Carlos Torres go at it, and Chris Johnson walks.
Is that the first walk of the game?
I can't remember. Holy cow.
Laser said no, it's not.
No. B.J. Upton bats. He's 2 for 4. A couple of doubles, a run, and an RBI for the Braves center fielder. A lot of good things to talk about on Braves Live, presented by AT&T. That follows the game this afternoon. We have word on Jordan Schaefer's departure. He left the game with a lower back strain. Now, Paul Janisch is going to pinch run for Chris Johnson.
Good idea for Chris. He's been trying to get a sore toe healed up. He's had some leg issues. Good idea to get him out of there too. Notice Brian Snitker too on a couple of times when Johnson was running the bases, holding him up at third base in points where it wasn't necessary for him to try and score.
Yeah, the Braves have had enough injuries.
Jason doing the jersey pull in the back of the neck, which is indicative of something within the team that is like a way to go. Nice job.
And in a season where we've seen so many really cool numbers, one of the most impressive numbers for me is the fact that this Braves ball club is about to win its 84th game this year, and they've had their envisioned starting 8 offensive lineup together for 28 games. That is something nobody in the national media has talked about with regards to this Braves team.
Yeah, these outlets that are reluctant to talk about Atlanta, if they do, I mean, how many of them start off by talking about who's not here with Venners and O'Flaherty and Hudson and Christian Martinez and Ramiro Pena and Tyler Pasternicki, and I know I'm leaving somebody out. And Jason Hayward, of course. But how about starting there when you start talking about how this team has done what it's done without so many key players?
And usually when a team goes through and has a number like the one I mentioned, they're 53 and 83, not 83 and 53, because these are key players on this club. Both of your top backup infielders, Gold Glove outfielder, your #1 starter, Tim Hudson, as Upton walks, back-to-back passes here in the 8th inning. Your starting catcher missed the first month of the season, coming back from shoulder surgery. Both of your backup catchers have had an injury at some point. Your starting first baseman spent 2 weeks on the disabled list with an oblique problem. Remarkable. Brandon Beachy coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Left him out.
Twice he's been sidelined with inflammation in the elbow. Dan hopes to get in on the hitting fun. He is the only regular player without a base hit today.
Braves have had a runner in scoring position every inning but the 3rd. That was Dice K's 1-2-3 inning, and then he got yanked.
Awfully quick hook. Said with tongue planted firmly in cheek. 1-1 to Uggla.
Braves, or excuse me, the Mets ought to have one more hit, and the Braves one less error.
Wonder if Ardsman's running on fumes. He can't throw strikes all of a sudden.
He might be. You got Hawkins loosening up now in the pen.
Up the middle. Nice play, Turner, and the throw to second is going to be late. Ardsman got the ground ball, but it was in perfect position. And Uggla does pick up that infield hit.
Good effort by Turner. And a good try. Just couldn't get it there in time. I applaud these Mets. They could have rolled over when they were behind, what was it, 6-1 at the end of 2 innings. They could have just phoned it in at that point, and they have not. They've hustled. They've had some offense. Come back to score 4 more runs after the 2nd inning, and again playing in Washington last night. The game ending after 11 p.m. and then having to go get on the bus and drive to Dulles. I mean, you could sleep for an hour then if you time it right.
And look,
and fly here and get up this morning and play.
I got no bone to pick with the Sunday night game. Players are handsomely compensated for playing that 8 o'clock game. But the team that has to travel is at a horrible disadvantage. Braves have had games in Washington and have had to fly all the way to San Francisco the next day to play, for crying out loud. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I really wish baseball would rethink that starting time in particular. It may not sound like a lot, but with the extended commercial breaks that are certainly a part of it, the game's already going to be longer. Why not start the game at 7 o'clock like most every other game is played? You can still showcase it as the national game of the week, and the teams then have a chance to get home at a relatively decent time. But the Mets today are at a horrible competitive disadvantage, and ultimately the people who suffer the most are the fans who are paying their good money to try to see a product at its best level.
Well, a tip of the cap to Terry Collins and his staff and his players.
Yeah. Toward third, and that's under Satton's glove, and a couple of runs are going to score. Simmons on his way to second and beats the throw. And that'll be the end of the line for Aardsma. I'm assuming that's a double all the way. But one never knows.
Yeah, I'm not assuming anything, and especially the way he kind of backed up on it.
So we'll wait for the official scoring. That ends the day for Aardsma. 2 more runs across in the Atlanta 8th. It's 12-5.
The Mets, guys, there's some drama going on in the minor leagues this afternoon. Final day of the Southern League season. The Mississippi Braves need to win to make it into the Southern League playoffs. They've gone to the 9th inning in Jacksonville, tied at 5. Tommy La Stella 3 for 4, the couple of runs scored. The drama for a number of different reasons. Not only is it win and you're in, lose and your offseason begins, but the managers in that game nearly came to blows a couple of innings ago when the Suns were accused of stealing signs with the runner at second. So it seems like it's a little bit more exciting down in Jacksonville today than a 12-5 score here late in this week.
Good stuff.
Jacksonville is the AA affiliate of the Marlins. So, yeah, it's good stuff indeed. Joey Tadaslovich grabs a bat. He will face LaTroy Hawkins. The veteran right-hander has been busy for the Mets. And Joey pops the first pitch up toward left. Young with the catch. Tagging from third is Dan Uggla. He will score, give Tadaslovich an RBI. Simmons at second. 1 out. It's 13-5 now.
Aaron Holbert is the manager at Mississippi. Dennis Llewellyn, the pitching coach. Gary Ingram, the hitting coach.
This is Elliott Johnson. Came on and pinch ran in the 7th inning for Jordan Schaefer. If you missed it, he left with a lower back strain. He's day to day. Hopefully some treatment and a little bit of rest. The rest of this day will have him ready for action tomorrow night. Oh, 0-2. Johnson is rung up by Tim McClellan. Two outs for Justin Upton. He's had a big day today. He's scored 3 times. Each of the top 6 hitters for the Braves have scored at least 1 run today. That'll work. In fact, 1 through 8 have scored a run. Yeah.
Troy Hawkins is acting like he strained a groin.
And fouled away. 0-2 for Justin. Nice way for the Braves offense to come back from a 7-0 defeat yesterday to Miami. Braves are in double digits in runs scored for the first time since August 1st when they beat the Rockies here 11-2. In the middle of the Braves' 14-game winning streak. That will send this game to the 9th inning. Atlanta scores 3 more runs in the 8th inning. They extend their lead to 13-5 over New York. Stopped hitting today.
They have 17 hits. They've also drawn 5 walks. The Mets have committed an error. And it seems like they've had base runners. Well, they have had base runners on all day except the 3rd inning. It's the only inning they have not had a runner in scoring position.
Oljanish is in at 3rd base. Joey Tadaslovic is in left field. And Luis Avilan is on to finish this one up.
65th game for Luis. Still a perfect 5-0 with a 1.41 ERA.
That's a little low to Murphy. Paul Maholm started for the Braves, went 5 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. He's going to win his 10th game of the year. Comebacker. 1 out. Daisuke Matsuzaka started for the Mets, allowed 6 runs in 3 innings, and he'll fall to 0-3 as a New York Met. Josh Satin started the day at first base. Will end the day at third for New York. He's 2 for 4 with a couple of 2-base hits. Pretty breaking ball. 1-2. Two-run double in the first for that man, a 3-run homer in the second. Career high tying 5 RBI day for Freddie Freeman. And now the Braves are 1 out away from a 6-1 homestand. And it's Lucas Duda. Strike 1 at the knees. That one bounced into the Braves dugout. Now Avila a strike away. The 2-2 pitch. It's your ball game. The Braves polish off the New York Mets and have won their 50th game of the season at home. 13-5 is the final score. The Braves bats boomed today. Every starter scored at least one run.